Hello and welcome everyone to Soul Talk with Sahar on Bridges of Light. Today is the 8th episode and I'm very honored to have as my guest Guru Sanjeev Krishna. Guru Sanjeev Krishna heads a thriving yoga center in Dubai, and I have taken a few courses at this center. This is how we've met, and I'm really glad that you're with us on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
First of all, I would like to tell the viewers, let us know where you're watching from. Give us thumbs up if you leave any comments in the chat. If you're watching live or in the rebroadcast, we will come back to you and we will answer these questions. To begin with, I'd like to tell everyone that I find you as a guru and as a teacher extremely down to earth. You're easily approachable. And I just want to tell everyone that you did not ask anyone to call you Guru, but out of respect and appreciation, I can't just call you Sanjeev, so I'm going to call you Guru Ji.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to talk today about maybe three things. If we can begin by talking about what yoga is and what yoga is not, because it has become rather fashionable, and in my opinion, maybe it has moved away from its original purpose. You know, that there's goat yoga now and I don't know what other yoga. So, and when I came into the center, I was really pushed by my friend. I really avoided yoga for a very long time, although my niece is a yoga instructor, because I had misconceptions. And when I came here, I found it such an easy thing to do and to follow. What is yoga? What is a guru? And why do you do what you do?
In fact, the entire knowledge of yoga has come from nature.
Nature.
If you ask me who is the author for yoga, any animal, when they become sick or hurt, they lie down in certain postures.
Interesting.
And when they lie down in certain postures, which is instinctively guided by nature,
yes,
naturally in 2-3 days, they come out of it very fast.
Right.
So very keenly observing by the great masters of yours, they observed almost 82,000 species and 84 important postures came into you.
Wow. From observing the animals in nature.
So they are the teachers.
I did not know that, did you?
So they are the teachers. So whenever we do, for example, why we do yoga, the exercise part is only a chip of the iceberg,
right,
of the infinite knowledge nature has all about. And yoga is the science of nature.
Right.
It's not just exercises or stretching and straining yourself. We say, in fact, whenever you do stretches, we have to be comfortable and steady.
Right.
We call it as Sukham Sthiram Asana.
Right.
That's why you really get the benefit out of it. If you strain yourself in any stretch, tomorrow you get pain.
Yes.
So your mind stops you from doing it.
So safety is quite important.
Safety is the major objective, and it's to heal, not to
Because
strain.
I see a lot of weird postures or asanas, and that put me off. I mean, there is no way I can stand on my head. I won't do it. But I think maybe if you're born into that culture, if you're used to it, then you're more amenable, it's okay. But actually I have some friends who have injured their necks because they're trying the postures of standing upside down.
See, postures are always good because you extend yourself to the 82,000 species muscles.
Right.
You have all the capacity as a human being
to do it.
We are embedded with those muscle memories.
But I think it should be, you're saying, a gradual, safe process rather than...
No, for example, we do yoga. For every day you sit, you stand, you strain. So automatically stiffness and stagnancy accumulates in the body.
Right.
So on a day-to-day basis, if you can eliminate them, naturally your life will be much more healthier and easy for you to move around, do your day-to-day things. So it is like cleansing the system. So the main objective of this science is to ensure that you're healthy, light, and you're really good in psychic mind. Because only when you're healthy you feel your mind is also strong.
So you're saying yoga is a practice that can allow us to connect with nature,
Of course.
rebalance, maybe the benefits are being more flexible, have peace of mind through the meditation and the practice.
Exactly.
You spoke about, is it 5 elements or levels or types of yoga? The mind, the emotions, air, space?
No, we are a part of nature, we are not a part
Okay.
of nature. So if you see, our body consists of 5 elements.
Okay.
We have the fire, wind, space, earth and water. Same as how the elementary
Okay, can you say them again? Fire,
Fire, wind,
Wind,
space,
space,
earth and water.
earth and water. Okay.
And we are composed of 5 dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if you see, a body by itself for a human being doesn't sustain even for 2-3 days once the life is gone.
Mm-hmm.
So, body by itself cannot survive.
True.
Now, body with the breath is a living vegetable only,
Mm-hmm.
because it just has life.
Mm-hmm.
Body with the breath and the mind gives expression to this body.
Oh, interesting. So it's the consciousness through the physical expression is what gives life to the body.
Exactly.
Okay.
Breath is what gives life to the body. Expressions comes by expression of the emotions of the person.
Okay.
But all this is guided by knowledge and wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Because a person who is not knowledgeable, he may express his emotions in a very negative aspects or in a way which he doesn't know anything.
You can react impulsively.
It can be
without being
anything. It
aware.
can be even as children, they don't know anything.
Right.
They express their emotion, they are fearless, everything they do. So it's not bad or anything.
Okay.
But the mind, only when it is backed by knowledge and wisdom, a person matures himself.
So how do we attain this knowledge and wisdom?
By gaining knowledge, that's why nature has given us immense of things to look, ponder, be aware, be alert, seek knowledge from nature.
That's interesting. So it's not about reading and doing courses or just being present and observing things
Observing,
around us.
because nature, if you observe, we should all be seekers of knowledge.
Nice.
Whenever I am a seeker of knowledge, naturally I don't have any enemy in front of me. Everyone is my teacher.
That's interesting.
So when you are a seeker of knowledge, you start loving one another. Here, what the problem that we are facing today is everyone wants to teach when the other person doesn't want to learn.
So true. What you said is really important, because if you're seeking knowledge, then no one is your enemy. So in a way you're dissolving the conflict by being curious to learn more about life.
And every animal also teaches.
Yes.
Every bird, nature, plants, they all give us knowledge. But we do not realize, we are not aware. That's why we deviate from nature.
Yes.
We think there's something apart from nature.
Yes.
This is where we need to understand we are not apart, we are a part and parcel of one another.
Right.
So this science of how you can understand yourself, how you can really maintain, sustain and retain your life with the nature as your companion, because you're a part of it. So this knowledge is what we call it as harmony in English. Bihar,
Yes.
we call it in Arabic. We call it in union, yoga. Yoga is just meaning union or coordination.
Oh really? So yoga is literally union.
Just union or coordination or harmony or symphony in one's life.
Lovely.
It has nothing to do with just stretching and some breathing. No. It is how, see, you cannot say 1 hour I am doing yoga. No. 1 hour yoga is not yoga. Living in the knowledge is yoga.
You're saying it's something that we practice every minute by being aware.
You are in harmony with yourself.
If
You're
you're
in
in
yoga.
harmony, you're in yoga.
That's
nice. Very nice.
So throughout your life you can be in yoga. It's not 1 hour practice that's called yoga.
So how would you see this 1 hour? Yeah, oh, we have a question from the audience. Okay.
So how do you reach to be in harmony? Do you have to practice yoga to get in harmony, or do you get in harmony and then you start practicing yoga?
Good
First
question.
of all, harmony is to be had in the mind. Exercise follows. If your mind is not in harmony, where you will have time to do exercise?
So how do you get to be in harmony?
By knowledge.
Sit and
By
observe.
knowledge. For example, you're sitting in a room, totally dark. You have fear. Your anxiety is what's happening, what's here, why? The moment I put the light, you're comfortable. Because it has illumined you. It has made you comfortable. Once it has made you comfortable, then you're more confident, more courageous, more fearless. So knowledge makes you more confident, more courageous, more fearless to face the world.
So knowledge of the surroundings, you mean?
Knowledge of everything.
Or knowledge of yourself.
For example, you will not be in harmony if you have any issues happening in your life. But how to manage that life is your knowledge, is the wisdom that you should have. If that wisdom is not there, you will not know how to manage your life. You may be the best student from Harvard University or Cambridge or Oxford, but if you do not know how to manage your life, it's of no use. You have only money, but no peace of mind.
I think what she's asking is, how do you seek that knowledge?
Seek the knowledge by inquiry, self-inquiry, seeking knowledge.
Asking questions.
For example, why do people come here? They come here because they have some issues to be sorted out. They find this place may give you knowledge. So they come. And when they attend the program, especially the Rhythm of Life, cover the entire life management principles of every living human being. For example, if you undergo that, you know everything about yourself. Not only the body, not only the breath, not only your expressions or emotions, but also immense of knowledge on management principles. Once you gain that, naturally you are in happiness.
So how, when I want to come to you, how do you assess me?
I don't assess anyone.
So why would I want to come to yoga if I feel I'm confident with my life and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing?
You can enjoy your life, no issue. When people come to me, they come referred by others. They come, see, everyone is
because
seeking.
They're unhappy or unsatisfied.
Everyone is seeking
on whatever level.
Exactly. Everyone is seeking to be in happiness and peace or in health.
So is it like a standard program for everybody, or you feel this one needs more on that and she needs more on that? How does it work?
It's beautiful. It's a good question. I'll tell you one thing. Though we are different, we are all one. The only difference is knowledge and ignorance. For example, if you see a human being, the physiology, anatomy, pathology, gynecology, dentistry, dermatology, pharmacology is all the same. Every human being, irrespective of any differences. Breathing, all of us breathe oxygen, all give out carbon. There's no difference. Expressions of mind of a microcosmic person or an entity or an identity or a personality is the same as a macrocosmic expression of every living human being in the world. There's no difference. The only difference is either I'm knowledgeable or I'm ignorant. Knowledge adds life to you, makes you more matured. Ignorance takes all the negative emotions to arise in you. Because whenever we are ignorant, I have fear.
Can I rephrase what you said? So you're saying we're all the same, and what's unique about us is how we react to our circumstance. And in order to react in a positive way, you need to know, you need to have the wisdom and the knowledge.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you're unconscious of how you're reacting. So this wisdom and knowledge comes through self-inquiry.
Self-inquiry, and I'm guiding you because of the experiences which I have had, by which you also learn how to make your body the best by the concepts of right exercises required for your body, right breathing techniques where you can infuse immense of life energy.
The breathing brings the life into the body?
Life energy. And also your mind to be more disciplined so you can take more knowledge. If your mind is not disciplined, we become comfortable, diseased, negative emotions come, and you start reacting, as she rightly said, to everything. So knowledge is the key, and this is also based on how you get happiness. Some people's objective of happiness is to climb a mountain and he's happy. Some want to eat chilies and be happy. Some want to ride a motorbike and go for racing, he's happy.
Mhm.
So everyone's happiness depends on his knowledge and understanding.
There's a thing in English that says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if you're happy with the way that your life is going, then you don't need to fix anything. I think it's when we go through a difficult time that we begin to do the self-inquiry. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with my life? Why am I going through a difficult time? To me, I would probably tell clients or express knowledge by the word curiosity. If you're curious about your situation, if you're curious about your life, then that journey begins into self-awakening.
Yeah.
Because if you're not curious, you're just going to go through life complaining, and that's it. Nothing changes, nothing improves.
Yeah. Only when you have finally the health issues, you really start suffering.
Yeah.
That's the time you run around.
Your body begins to scream.
Till the body is okay,
You're
stretch,
putting up. That's
you
a very
stretch,
good point, yes.
you stretch. Until you land on the stretcher, you don't have time. Once you're in the stretcher, you have all the time, all the money to spend.
On health.
But by the time, it is too late. That's why only when it comes to crisis, we think about it.
Mhm.
A true intelligent or wise person should look for preventive management rather than crisis management. So this is where the yogic science is the science of life management of an individual or a person. If you do this, if you see all the imbalances, you ask me this question, how can it affect everyone? All the imbalances of a human being is either in the physical body, is either in the breath, is either in the weaknesses of the mind or in discipline or ignorance. Since I cover all these dimensions, physically those who have back issues, arthritis, I address them, take care of them. So they feel the difference. Those who have breathing issues, palpitation, breathlessness, because of the breathing and the mind, how it strengthens them, naturally their breathing also improves a lot, because we need continuous oxidation in the body, not just physical energy.
I was going to ask you, why do you stress so much on breathing? So by literally learning how to breathe well, you're saying you're taking more oxygen,
Yeah.
you're oxidizing the cells, and that in itself makes them more healthy?
Exactly. See, if you see a human being, the cell functions with one molecule of glucose, sugar, and one molecule of oxygen. Not just enough that you have sugar by eating all the foods. You need to have oxygen to combust,
That's
for
true.
combustion.
To
But
burn
when
the
our
calories.
oxygen is less in the body, naturally the functioning will become weak. So infusing more and more breathing, oxidation in the system alone can help a person. So that's why the entire science of breathing is taught from the fundamental base. Thereby the person can help himself, and so far air is free. But we do not know how to breathe properly. We are not being taught as a child, in schools, universities, nowhere. And it's absolutely the best thing you can have without any issues, wherever you go. Plus knowledge on how to manage your day-to-day life, your approach to life, your emotions, all this
So
helps
all this I will learn through yoga?
Yeah.
automatic.
From,
And then
especially from the Rhythm of Life course, which I was going to ask you or talk to you about. Our group was group number 304. So can we say that already 304 groups or maybe more?
now it is 313th just finished.
Because I did that about 2 or 3 months ago. So in the Rhythm of Life, it's basically a culmination of your experience. So you've put all these methods into the program, which is 10 days. But you have also a prerequisite, or not necessarily. You have the Sky 5-day program.
I have a basic foundation program. Those who
But
don't
you
have
can-
time for 10 days,
yeah.
they can do the prerequisite beginners module, which can stabilize them back to health. So Sky Foundation program they can do. then they can attend the rhythm of life. But
Yeah.
those who directly would love to do rhythm of
They
life,
can do. I mean,
I
just by
allow them,
talking to
provided
them.
they
Yeah.
are really sincere about it. Because
Okay.
I need 10 days absolute commitment. Not for me,
Yeah.
but for the student.
For the students, I know.
So when they're done the 10 days, do you reflect on how they progressed or how
You
they changed?
from experience, you get to know how better you have become. Because in the program we had questions to assess ourselves every day. And you started us very gradually, you know, he tricked us into it. So the first thing was just spend 15 minutes by yourself
Yeah.
and breathe deeply. So that's all you had to do, which was great. And then the second day we added drink 2 glasses of lukewarm water when you first get up
Yeah.
to cleanse
These
the
are
body.
part of the program. So many things are there, stipulations and discipline that we create. So
You
detoxify
build it
the
up, is what I'm saying,
Yeah.
without realizing.
Yeah.
You know, we got to do postures, we got to do breathing, and then we end the day with Guruji. We end the day by having a meal that is cooked here, which is
It's
basically.
not cooked.
I was
It's
going to
not-
say it's we were expecting biryani and dal, but it wasn't. It was natural, raw fruits and vegetables, and we had detoxifying juices as well,
Yeah.
for which I'm still waiting for the recipes. And yeah, the program in 10 days, you get your mojo back. You know, you feel you are in rhythm. You feel I can begin to cope. I would love to do the advanced course where you have 2 days retreat. It's off
Yeah.
location.
Yeah.
You go somewhere else. Where? Here in the Emirates?
It's up to us, you know, wherever the group, we'd like to have it in Dubai itself, so that it's easy for them to come and go and everything.
I want to address this aspect of disciplining the mind. So when we did the course, you asked us not to watch television or disturbing news. Is that part of it, to kind
It's
of
not that,
clarify?
it has nothing to do with it. See, the main objective of us is we have not understood ourselves.
Hmm.
So we are here in these days to learn more about yourself.
Hmm.
So when you want to study, you don't want everyone to disturb you.
Okay.
Same. So we
So it
don't
just
want any
allows you
disturbances to disturb you
focus.
when you are focusing on your life. So that's certain inculcation of certain disciplines are set for your benefit. If you follow it, you get the best. That's why I want commitments. Those who really are suffering, really are looking for and nothing works, this will work because you come back to your system.
So you want commitments that we will not watch TV?
Nothing, not even these.
So what-
It's not
what-
about
what's-
TV or anything.
Yeah.
If I'm signing up today, what's your expectation that I will
I
do?
don't expect, you are the one to expect. Rob.
No, like now Ms. Sahar said that we should not drink, we should drink 2 cups of water.
No,
No,
this
these
is
are
about-
the, see, I'll tell you something.
Yeah.
The contents
Like
of the
homework, what
program,
homework do we have?
the contents of the program, I don't think it's good to tell.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I just touched.
So
Doesn't-
we will have homework.
My point is that it's something that builds up gradually, so that you don't resist, and it's natural, so you do it. But it's not like you're gonna sit and do homework. The homework is really just to commit to the process, do a couple of simple things, like I said, the breathing and the water, and the rest just follows. You know, you don't realize by the 10 days, as I said, you get yourself back.
I'll tell
And-
you.
yeah, please.
Sorry. Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. It's, for example, mind is something that we need to understand. Has to be disciplined. The mind can be your the best enemy, or the
Worst enemy.
best, or the best
friend or worst enemy. Yeah.
Can be anything. Now, how to understand that? You need to realize. For that, I take you to be with yourself. That's it. Different mediums, methodology I may use to operate so that the mind becomes disciplined. All the imbalances that we suffer from is because of the indisciplined mind. That makes me suffer. So, for that, we need to actually understand who am I, what is the essence of my mind, how does it operate. So once you are focused onto yourself, it's easy for you to understand. So all distractions or habitual conditionings are set aside. and initiated in 10 days. So you experience the best. That's it. So in fact, everything you get it according to how much you give it. You know, 100% you give in the program, 100% you will get back. It depends on how much you involve yourself.
Show up on time.
Show up.
Don't miss a
It's
class.
anything.
No, I think it's
Anything.
important, not because
Yeah,
it's a process. You know, this is the commitment. Not you're not going to sit there and do research papers. You know, that's what I meant to say. So mind discipline, because you keep emphasizing that. How does one discipline the mind?
It has to be understood by how to strengthen the mind. You know, for example, if I tell you to, for example, you don't have diabetic at the moment, let us say. You eat all your sweets. One fine morning you realize you're having diabetes now. Now, if I tell you, please eat sweets, what will you say?
No.
I don't. You had to have some experience to decide not to have.
No, I see what you mean.
Clear?
Yeah.
So, discipline comes with knowledge again.
With knowledge, I understand. Does that make sense? You're thinking about it. Other than the rhythm of life, you also endeavor to bring children, families, pregnant women, all sorts of people from all sorts of walks of life.
Yeah.
And you have air yoga, which I have not seen before. You also teach a form of Indian martial arts. I can't pronounce the word. What is it called?
It's called Kalaripayattu. Kalaripayattu.
Kalaripayattu, which I'm sure I'm going to do one time because it looks really interesting. And you do all of this here at the center.
Exactly. You know, Kalaripayattu is not something apart from yoga.
Okay.
It's a part of yoga. I'll tell you why. If you throw a cat, it will fall on 4 legs.
Yes.
It knows how to instinctively protect.
Yes.
We human beings have all the muscles of 82,000 species in our body.
Really?
But if I throw a cat, a person, his bones will break.
Yes.
Because we have not activated the muscle memories.
Oh.
This training, which I have exclusively in the most traditional setup in the Middle East, no one has this. It is fine-tuned so that every person who undergoes such training, the children especially in sports today, for all the football, cricket, any sport activity, if you fall sometimes, it can be disastrous. It can destroy your life because you break and then you no more football for you. But whereas if you undergo this training, which I have initiated with yoga, meditation and a deep inner sense of the knowledge, naturally a child is safeguarded throughout his life. Even at any adverse situation, he learns how to protect himself. Because without seeing him, for example, a person, even you're looking in front, suddenly something comes, your hand goes to protect. Muscle works. This is totally set in the system.
Yeah.
So it's again an instinctive knowledge from nature.
Yeah.
So 8 major postures of animals, birds, reptiles, all these things is trained to activate your muscle memories. Naturally, whenever you undergo such training, your muscle memory is fine-tuned for any adverse situations. And the best thing is, you know, you're a very powerful, strong weapon. You don't want to give any pain to anyone. So you become more humble. And you don't want to hurt anyone in any way. So you just try to protect yourself and run away from the scene. So the science of ahimsa, we call it in the yogic knowledge. Ahimsa. Do not give pain to others. If you give pain to others, next moment you will be in pain. But you should learn how to protect yourself. That knowledge is what we initiate them. So naturally, it helps a child, a sportsman, any person to develop the best of stamina, courage, confidence, fearlessness. So he becomes a real personality, a commander for himself. That he is so confident, psychic mind is strong. Everything comes into it.
So how young you should be?
From the age of 6, they can start.
Amazing, really.
it can start. And we are one of the...
I work with children. To them, yoga is not breathing. You're just sitting crisscross applesauce and all the time, and that's
You see,
it.
that's
They've done the yoga.
That's the misconception.
It's a misconception.
Yeah.
I try to put the animal yogas for them, the different postures. No, this is not yoga. Yoga is crisscross and for 10 minutes.
See, yoga is being natural.
You made an interesting point that we have within our bodies the knowledge of all the muscular use of all the animals. Do you mean like through the process of evolution, basically? So we've returned that memory. And by doing this martial art, you are stimulating that memory.
You're creating or activating your muscle memories.
Muscle memory.
Thereby, you can adopt any position, state, postures if you really work on them. Yeah. And it makes you very strong. So that's why in any adverse situation, you are a very powerful defender. Very powerful defender. At the same time, you don't want to give him pain. You're only defending. That's why from this came Shaolin Kung Fu.
Oh yes.
And the person who started it is called Bodhidharma. He's from India, from South. So from this came Jiu-Jitsu, Ninjutsu, Tai Chi, Taekwondo, Kung Fu, Karate.
So it started in
It
India
is not,
first?
yeah, it is because every country had it. It had its own natural ways of defense. But here it was more clearly defined on how, and the steps were very, very clearly defined. So it has helped a lot in all trainings of martial arts. Because nature is there everywhere. So every person has the ability to understand. But here has given a very clear stipulations on certain things that to be done. So we can say it's been originated from the base of this place.
So from what you're saying, through the breath we connect with nature, the elements or air. Through the martial arts we connect also with the muscular memory that animals also have, so we're connecting with that element. My experience with yoga nidra was very special because I found myself into space. Is that the objective, that you also connect to space or other side of nature? Or was
Yoga
that just my
Nidra is
experience?
what you did. Yoga Nidra is basically to take away what has been set in the subconscious mind.
Okay.
Like phobias, neuroses, traumas, whatever I have undergone, we develop it or rather set it into our hard disk or subconscious.
Okay.
So this, you have to eliminate them. So to eliminate them, we need certain requirements or instructions. Gradually you only go deep within and cleanse your systems. It's not like psycho-hypnotism,
Okay.
where someone takes over your mind, which is not advisable.
Okay.
The best thing is to go into your mind yourself. You
I
just need to
see.
be guided. And thereby your mind doesn't become weak, but rather empowers you.
You become stronger because you're facing your issues.
You,
your
and not only
subconscious.
that, you are eliminating it yourself.
So every time I want to cleanse or update my system, I can practice Nidra Yoga
Of course,
with your CD.
You can always
Yeah.
practice, yeah.
Okay. So it's not like a one-time thing, it's a process.
No, yeah, and
So
Yoga Nidra, there is not only one yoga, there are 5 steps or 5 sessions for Yoga Nidra
Right,
on a higher level.
right,
It's not just basic one is one only.
right.
Then we have 2, 3, 4, 5 of stages of Yoga Nidra.
Okay. But as a practice, can I
You can use that same CD and work on them.
Okay.
So you start understanding it more, cleansing it more, and you feel very refreshed and light over a period of time.
So my understanding of Nidra Yoga is that your body is really, really still, and this is when you release the memory.
It is just bringing your mind. It's not about the body. Body is already there. It is the
Okay.
mind that we have to strengthen it more to get deeper within yourself. That's why it's important. And Yoga Nidra helps you to get that.
To strengthen the mind. So it's a
Strengthen the
mind
mind
discipline.
and takes away all these imbalances from the system.
What's the purpose of aerial yoga?
Aerial yoga, if you observe, can help you to strengthen your spine.
I see.
It is called. You can use
like
it
it
for.
doesn't pressure the body, it doesn't put
Yeah, without
pressure.
straining the
Strain,
muscles, you
yeah.
can stretch your muscles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we talk about, because you are in the corporate world, in the business world, and then suddenly, well, not suddenly, maybe it was a process, suddenly there was a big change in your life and you saw some signs and somehow you were led to come to Dubai. And it is my observation that when you go through a life-changing event or transition, if you're not listening, you'll be pushed, you'll be guided to it so that you're doing the right thing or that you are on your life path. Can we talk a little bit? Is there something that you can share with us about your process and how you got to do what you're doing?
In fact, at a very young age, I had this introspection or introspective mind to know what is happening, why it is happening. Because certain situations in my life which I experienced made me think.
Mm-hmm.
So this introspective mind made me go deeper and deeper within.
Mm-hmm.
So then I have to be in search of more and more such knowledge.
How old or how young were you?
At the age of 12,
Oh, wow.
I started. Yeah.
Okay.
Then I got into. You can pause now. You can pause it.
Don't worry.
So at the age of 12, I started more and more thinking. And at the age of 14, I came in touch with one of the, from Siddha Samaj we call it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, he came to me. And I was always worried how do I get a person. So, because I didn't know how parents, they think yoga means you'll become a saint.
Oh, I see.
So at the time, you can imagine at the time of 40, 45 years, yoga is not common to anyone.
Really?
Yeah, not much. So I always thought yoga, if you're going to be a sannyasi or a saint.
Yeah.
So I didn't have the courage to ask them what to do, where I can. So
where I can learn.
yeah. So he in fact came. Then it was a process. So I was with them. Then went into different schools of yoga, basically in Indian origin. And finally, at the same time, I was also had to do my day-to-day life. You know, for example, I was working in different lines. I was in medicines, transport, banking, recovery.
Really?
Then finally, at one point, I thought, let me do what I love to do. So that's how and it just happened. I came for a 15 days holiday.
Oh, really? You came to Dubai on holiday?
Holiday, and then those who knew said, why don't you do some classes? That's this history. I just came and they said, you have to be a teacher. I said, okay. So that's how anyhow I had
so
this
you
passion.
had an open mind and you were passionate about what you do.
Yeah.
And then the path just opened up.
Yeah, it just a history. It came and then slowly, it's all word of mouth generally. We didn't do any marketing as such at the time. And it's now almost 17 years I'm in Dubai now.
Impressive.
Yeah. And even we had in 2002 or 3, I think, we had the government of health, you know,
The health
saying
authority in
awareness
Dubai.
to health,
Yeah.
to the concepts of yoga. And we had 35 of our students, we had a walk in Al-Sif Street
Oh, yes.
on contribution to the World Health through yoga at that time, 2002 or 3, I think, years of time. And we got an award also from the Government of Health for the participations and all we did.
Wonderful.
So this is how it has started. It's more a word of mouth and people started.
And recently you've attended there was a first conference on yoga.
Yeah, that is recently we had the Arab region yoga instructors conference.
Which in itself is really something.
Yeah,
to
first
have
time
that on
in
international
Dubai.
level, yeah.
It's a very good initiative done by this organization. And we had almost like 13 countries and 134 yoga enthusiasts and instructors who attended this program. I'm also there in the board of
Mhm.
this. Yeah. So it was one of the way to bring in ethics to the science of yoga, because today yoga is becoming every word they put a word yoga and market it. You know, a puppy yoga, a dog. You know, there's goat yoga, bear yoga. So there is no ethics or the value is not understood. You're making fun of your own self. When you're making fun of yoga, you're making fun of your own self because it's a part of nature.
Mhm.
So there should be a certain ethics to understand the value of the knowledge. It's not just you do 121 days some training and then you start teaching exercise. It's not that. You have to go more deeper. So that comes only when you start looking within you. So that's why I feel it is a beautiful knowledge which every human being in the world should understand. And every child should be taught, not when they reach or when they have stress. From the school, we have to start.
Integrate it into their life.
Integrate them. Then you can see a better society, a better generation for tomorrow.
I also know that within the center, as part of your philosophy, you offer advice on nutrition, Ayurveda, so that's something that one can explore.
I don't give much information on that. I just, as a part of detoxing, I just do it.
Okay.
But if you want to know, we can always support you.
Okay.
When Ayurveda, we have, because in-house we have a doctor
Yes.
who's in Ayurveda,
Yeah.
who she does only yoga classes.
Right.
So she doesn't do any treatment, but
Okay.
she is knowledgeable.
Okay.
Knowledgeable, she's
So
a doctor.
if one needs advice, then
She can guide you in maybe things, but she's a yoga instructor and teacher. Also she's an Ayurvedic doctor,
right.
but not done anything. But she's fine.
Okay.
So that can also be guiding, but generally we don't do all.
I understand. So your main focus on
It's yoga only.
is yoga, really. And you have corporate programs. Can you tell us a little bit about, because I find that interesting that you get asked quite often to visit companies and do corporate
Yeah,
programs.
corporates, because today ultimately whether it's corporate or anyone, it's human beings.
Yes.
End of the day.
Yes.
Human being. And every human being has family, facility, stress, tension. So whether it is corporate or individual or a group, ultimately we are all human beings.
True.
So how we can support a team? Because if a person is not happy in his life, he cannot give happiness to where he is working. So how to make them understand and help them to cope up with their day-to-day stress or family issues or whatever, so they learn the art of management. Naturally, it helps them to give the best to the company, provide, for example, a state of shifting from an employee concept to an employer concept immediately develops the company manifold. So how to initiate such knowledge to employees can help the corporate companies to rise up manifold. So this is very, very important in corporate companies. But the essence of knowledge should be very clearly defined according to the requirement. For example, all cannot have the same type of knowledge, but basics can be the same, exercise can be the same, breathing can be the same. But understanding can be given from a level where each one gives according to what he can take it. You can't give everything to someone who doesn't know, who cannot eat it or who cannot digest it.
Yeah.
So that we have to understand, tailor-make and support them. So each person digests the knowledge. So that's why it's corporate, it's very, very essential. Today, it's very much required so that we can create a better atmosphere in corporate companies, in families, in everything. Especially when parents do, children follow. So all these things can be initiated.
What is the body weight workout about? Because that's another thing that...
Body weight workout, the concept of body weight and gym and all is fantastically set already. So those who have those, we have the facility. But I think we'll be getting more into yoga only. We'll be stopping these things. At the moment we have.
Okay.
Gradually we just we want to focus more on the science. Yeah, exercise we have kickboxing, we have circuit training, we have functional training, kettlebell, everything we have. But focus is mainly because a human being comes, some look for physical fitness, some for other aspects. So we have as one destination on health for physical, mental, emotional, everything is covered here. So whenever a person comes for fitness, he
They can
can
have
have it.
something.
Slowly he evolves.
I see what
So we give a basic foundation to anyone to come and get the best. So this is what we all have. Then we have teacher trainings also.
Yes, of course, you're internationally
Yeah.
certified to instruct or graduate teachers of yoga. So one can, if one is interested in becoming a certified yoga teacher,
Yeah.
they can attend the program here.
This is by the Accreditation Council for Yoga, Accreditation International. It is mostly from the Indian origin, this centers. And all of them are having a very holistic and the real science of yoga embedded in the system. Not just doing exercise or anything. So the entire science is taught. Yeah, because in a yoga teacher training, taking classes is very simple. You can teach them in 21 days. No issue. But a teacher should be confident, knowledgeable to imbibe that 5-day class or a session. If that knowledge is not given the basic foundation, a person asks question, you cannot answer. So yoga is not just exercise, that's what I'm telling you. So we give a very holistic approach so that the knowledge is embedded in the teacher and he is or she is so confident to imbibe it to the generation. Because this knowledge is not to be kept or catalogued or categorized.
Yes.
This knowledge is for the world. This knowledge is for the universe to become the best contributor to nature. So every person should undergo the knowledge. But it should be understood properly and correctly. That's why it's very important that when you give teacher training, we should give them the right way where they understand what is science. That's why one stipulation for teacher training I say is do rhythm of life. That covers all the aspects in a module.
I see.
Then only you are eligible to teacher training. Otherwise I don't want them, because once they don't undergo, they don't understand. Then just exercise, they just want to learn some exercise, then you get a certificate, then you become a teacher. And if it can be sometimes disastrous also, because if you do not know how to take care of a person, it can have adverse effects. So we should be very careful in imbibing the knowledge. And we are only one in the Middle East accredited by Council for Yoga Accreditation International.
And it's only done in Dubai, you can't do it online?
We can do online also. One thing I always felt is we should have everything categorized and very clearly manualized. That's why our center is the ISO certified center. The only one in the Middle East as a yoga ISO certified center. Which I feel, because everything we have stipulated, manualized and set to a system, so the things take care. So even tomorrow I am not there, the system will work.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, so you have a standard process.
Standard process for teacher training and everything.
What are your aspirations for the next 5, 10, 20 years of your lives? What do you hope?
You know, my aspiration I would love to say is, if you're just living for myself, I'm just a vegetating system. If I can give this knowledge to the world, and if it can help people individually, family, society, nations and the world, this is the best thing I would love to do. And this is my vision. To give the best to the world so we make each and every one in your life happy. So my vision is to see how we all can join together, gain the knowledge and help the world to enlighten them with the correct knowledge. This is my vision.
Well, I hope you achieve it.
I don't hope, I will.
Brilliant. If you weren't doing what you're doing, what would you be?
Pardon?
If you were not Sanjeev Krishna doing what you're doing, if you had the choice, what would you be?
This is my choice.
This is your choice. So you're quite happy being on your life track, doing what you're doing?
100%. Otherwise, how can I have a vision and a mission?
Fantastic.
My passion is what gives me my vision and mission.
Your passion. That's nice.
That's why I don't work.
My passion is what gives me my mission and my vision.
And I don't work. I don't work at all.
Yes, because when you do what you love, it's not work.
So I don't have, some people ask, when are you taking holiday? I said, I don't work, then why should I take holiday? There is no holiday.
But you do travel.
When
on
required.
Conferences or whatever.
Yeah, conferences, and sometimes the physical body needs rest. Yeah, it can take rest.
if we can give one thing, one tip, one advice to our viewers, what would that be from your life experience?
I would love them to start experiencing their breath more every day. That brings them to the way.
You remind me every time you say that we breathe sometimes very shallowly, and we should really try and take it.
Let everyone become conscious of the breathing. That itself will start working within them to connect to the nature better. So that's the first key. They have to ignite, to enlighten themselves. So that's the best thing I would love to say. Let them start being with their breath more, awareness more. When you're angry or frustrated, be with your breath, it calms you down. Then talk.
You mean focus on your breathing, literally. And breathe.
So you know that is what everything life is all about.
Yeah.
Because you can not eat for 10 days, not drink, but 2 minutes you can't hold without breath.
Yes.
So all the drama, all the ego, all the circus that we do, we don't realize in 2 minutes everything can be over.
Yes. Yeah.
So not being aware of it shows my ego, my anger, my frustration, my hatred, and you can hardly realize what are you doing. You're just destroying yourself. So
That's
just
a
be
good
with
point.
your breath. It will calm you down to understand you're not something great. You're just a part of nature. Nature cuts off the air colors, all your drama is over.
That's so true. That's so true. I think people forget, or maybe not forget, but they take it for granted. And you begin to plan to the future, and you forget that any minute the lights can go off.
Yeah.
And that thought is humbling in itself. Guru Sanjeev, I'm very grateful to you. Thank you very much. I hope we'll have another opportunity to meet again on Soul Talk with Sahar. Please remember to subscribe on YouTube, hit the grey bell button so that you can receive notifications when the videos go up. And again, if you have any questions about yoga or about Sanjeev Krishna Yoga Center, please leave a comment in the chat and we'll get back to you.
Even one thing I wanted to tell you.
Please.
If I can.
Please.
The thing is, one unique facility that we also provide is for prenatal and postnatal.
Yes, yes. We
You
touched
asked
on
about,
that, yes.
In fact, today many people have this postnatal depressions.
Yes.
All this we take care because we be with the
From the beginning,
mother
from the start.
the beginning to give them physical, mental, emotional support. So thereby, there's no stones unturned on how to make them healthy.
Yes.
And it helps them to get into normal deliveries because the mind is relaxed. All these things we have here, and it's very good for those who can overcome.
We should mention the website. I guess you have more information on the website.
Yeah.
The website is Sanjeev Krishna Yoga.
SanjeevKrishna.yoga.
This says sanjeevkrishnayoga.com.
No, this is wrong.
This is an old one.
It's actually, the website is sanjeevkrishna.yoga.
.yoga.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have it in the link in the chat to make sure.
No, it's a brochure.
Okay, okay. All right. Well, thank you very much again, and look forward to being with you on the next episode of Soul Talk with Sahar.
And
Bye for now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Guru. Thank you very much.
This you can show, I think. ISO certifications and all.
This is the facility. This is where we do the physical training, martial arts. This hole under the shed, that's specially designed and made for the martial arts practice.